G'day folks. Oh, it's a good day for a bit of outside work, so I thought I'd drag the diesel generator out for a bit of a test run. I was having some issues at first priming the fuel system, and not only was I using old fuel that I dumped into the junk tank, but I also had a issue with the way the filter was positioned, and probably the size of it too, so I've gone for a normal screen type filter, and it should be pretty good. But that's all it ever ran, and putting one of these on it was actually too restrictive, so I pretty much solved that issue. And yeah, I got some fresh European diesel in there, which I got from a friend, so I got probably half a drum of that stuff left. I'll have to ask him for some more. But either way, it actually works. Because otherwise it was hunting and carrying on and belching smoke and giving all sorts of trouble before, but I'm going to set this on a load and just let it run for about an hour or so. Charging circuit's okay, everything else seems to be okay, so let's short blue to battery positive, because blue is the red wire to the starter solenoid. Actually, don't do what I did once before and forget to turn that on. That's one thing I want to do, is put a pull lever for a decompression. Because right now it's sitting just before compression, but we might be able to get it to pop over. Little bit of smoke. Things idle really well, I'll give them that much. The whole thing's going to shake itself to bits though. Yeah, poor thing's going to shake itself to bits, as they always do. I just realised that rubber, that's supposed to be on top of that, but it didn't last very long before it flew off again. I'm going to screw a piece of material onto it. Not that it's that important, it's just to stop it from overstressing the mounts when it kicks back on compression. It just hits that metal buffer. So that's not a big deal. I was expecting it to come off. The air cleaner's old, but just needs a bit of a clean up. It's a Yanmar clone, so it's a decent engine. Well, as decent as they build it. The original engine was really good. But these, some people reckon they're garbage. They have issues with injection, but this one's been going for a while and seems to have had no issues. I'll put it under a load and we'll see what happens. I need a decent load though. This thing can put out 16 to 18 amps, I think. It's main output was, it's covered over, I think it was 20 amps combined throughout all the outlets. And I put a new 20 amp, or a good second hand 20 amp breaker on there, because the other one was just soaked in diesel. Everything was soaked in diesel. That's part of the stud. I broke that off. That's the battery charging, positive and negative 12 volt DC at 8.3 amps. That's just a replacement fuse for the time being. 10 amp, probably a little bit overrated, but not a big deal. And there's an alternator housing or magnet flywheel on it. And that's the decomp lever I've got to get to. Got to be able to pull him back and down far enough from in there to be able to just ease the load on the starter. It's a new starter motor. It's just a generic drop-in replacement. I think I ordered this one from the UK, tractor parts supply company. Voltage regulator's slightly warm, but it's probably come from the block. Yeah, it's doing its job. Time for an oil change too. I haven't changed the oil on it yet, but now that I've run it and stirred up some of the muck in the crankcase, I can pull these out and siphon it out. It's certainly full of oil, it's just fairly old, so it'll do with a change. I'll get some 1030 diesel engine oil and away we go. Although it doesn't seem to state it has to be diesel engine oil, it just says SAE 1030, so I might just throw some regular lawnmower 1030 engine oil in there for 4-stroke overhead valve engines. Alright, let's give it some load. I've got a couple of heaters and things. There's a blow heater on the ground just down there and a 750 watt radiant on top. And I've also got the extractor fan for the shed hooked up to it, so it should give it something to work for. Well, it's loud, but it passed a half-hour test. It's pretty good. I don't have an excessive amount of load on it. The first, that heater there just kept cutting out on overheat. It's all plugged up with dust and other junk. It's pretty much trashed now. So I lost a bit of load, but when I find another big inductive load or something like that, I'll give it another go. But yeah, it works well. It doesn't smoke. Because originally when first started it with Jay, it was smoking and carrying on and had all sorts of problems, but it turns out it was just garbage fuel we were using. There's a bit of fuel left in the tank, as well as whatever fuel I put in there probably might have even had some kerosene or something in it. Not too sure, but it wasn't happy. But running on this clear European diesel, it's spotless. It loves it. I also played with the there's no real primary adjusting screw on the governor, it's all spring based, but I did get it to idle at or sit at 50 Hertz exactly under the there's a 1 horsepower electric motor and 750 watt radiant heater, and it was sitting on 50 Hertz bang on, so I should be able to plug a UPS into this and it won't have any issues with the frequency, which is going to be my next test. I'm going to tidy it up a bit first, get all that done, but then I'll try a PowerWare pure sine wave UPS and see if I can get it to run through that as a power filter, because then I'll be able to run all the computers and stuff off this, not a problem. Apart from running the main air conditioners, I should be able to set this up in such a way that it'll take over when the mains goes down, at least for more than a few minutes. Like, as long as the UPS lasts out, my computers are fine, and a couple of lights, but after that and the UPS batteries start going down, I want something to take over. Not that we have huge power outages here, it's just nice to have. Any kind of backup diesel generator is always good to have. But yeah, it'll probably live in a hutch next to the condensing unit there. I'll run the cables in through the wall where the computer power bank is, and build from there pretty much. I've just got to make sure I've got a primary isolator which denies startup of the generator unless it's isolated from mains. It doesn't try and inject power back into the grid when it's down. That could cause all sorts of problems, not to mention legal implications. So if you do decide to build a generating set or a backup system, you must isolate from mains before supplying power anywhere else in your house. So yeah, that's about that for now. I've got a bit more tidying up to do because the weather's warming up. I've got a car to move and all that sort of stuff, and probably just keep stripping the Daewoo down, or what's left of it. So yeah, stay tuned for more on that one. Thanks for watching.